Sydneysiders have just 1 week left to weigh in on the proposed flight paths for the new Western Sydney airport. One local MP claims there's been a lack of transparency from the federal government as the project progresses, and the initial 2016 environmental impact statement looks different to what it's released. Let's bring in Lindsay MP Melissa McIntosh. Thanks for your time. Talk us through your fundamental concerns around the feedback process here, and do you think that the benefits the government's talking about, the economic benefits for your region, will be as effective as they hope they will be?
Thanks, Kieran. I've always been a supporter of Western Sydney International Airport for the jobs that it will bring Western Sydney people. We've had to commute out of the area for so long for good jobs. It's great for our kids in the future. But this is about the Albanese Labor government and specifically Minister King hoodwinking our community at the 11th hour. She released the draft flight paths under the cover of darkness at 12 a.m. to the media to avoid scrutiny. And she talks about having transparency, but there is no transparency, there is no fairness about these flight paths. We are now the most impacted community in Western Sydney with over 220 flights per day, 18 different flight paths. There is no other community in Western Sydney getting impacted like this. We're just asking for these flight paths to be fair. And I want our community to and make sure that they know that they can make a submission, but they've only got 1 more week and then it's closed off.
Yeah, indeed. So is that resonating? Are people picking that up, that message in Penrith and surrounding areas at the foot of the mountains?
Well, it's not something that we've expected. So to only have a few months to really get your head around really technical documents, thousands of pages, is a lot to ask a community. And one of those EIS, the Environmental Impact Statement documents, noted that one of the most impacted communities, Luddenham, the people there still do not have much of an understanding of how the flight paths will impact their lives. That's extraordinary. We're about to have a major international airport, but the communication has been so poor from this government that people that are most impacted don't know much about it. So we want the government to get on the ground in Western Sydney, come to Penrith, come face the people and let them know how significant the noise, the environmental impacts and the social and health and wellbeing impacts will be on people.
On to, I've got to ask you about the backflip on stage 3 tax cuts, this broken promise. We haven't got all the detail, but from the sounds of it, all those under 150 grand a year will be better off. Will there be more people in the seat of Lindsay receiving more under the revised Labor plan, albeit, as I say, a breach of what they'd taken to the election? Will there be more in Lindsay receiving more than they would under the original stage 3?
I think let's wait and see what comes out of this afternoon's meeting. But people in Lindsay voted twice for these tax cuts that have now been legislated. So I think they'll be extremely concerned about the broken promise and the divisive nature of these cuts. The Voice divided Australians. This is yet another Labor government policy that will yet again divide Australians. Western Sydney is such an aspirational place. People in my community are working so hard to get ahead. We've got mums and dads on double incomes that are struggling so much now. We don't want to do anything that stops people aspiring for a better life for their families.
Melissa McIntosh, member for Lindsay. Thanks. Talk to you soon.